What up, boys? What up, boys?
What's going on? What is going on?
Welcome back to this week's episode of the War Podcast.
Yeah, boy.
Hey, I tell you what, we had a pretty good show last week. I was really digging that vibe we had going on, talking about respect. The old RESPECT.
Find out what it means to me. I stepped all over that, man. Sorry about that.
That's okay, brother. It's okay. I like how you hit that second octave. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like someone kicked the old nizzards.
I had to grab a little something.
Yeah. That wasn't Ray Ray all day. That was Ray Ray half the night.
I was Ray Ray all night there for a whole week.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was on the edge, Ray. I got to be honest with you. I was on the edge of feeling a little bit sorry for you. And I was like, nah, screw him.
Nah. The one day we had to record, I actually had to work.
I know. Screwed the pooch on that one.
Oh man,
but the show must go on.
Show must go on.
Those are the weeks that humble me.
I mean, we've got another week here without the Mana.
Oh yeah, we got his stand-in over here to the right.
Oh, the old captain's back.
Yep, old captain's back.
Sitting in for Mana Mike.
That half bottle of Captain's been more reliable than Mike the last month or so.
Half full or half empty.
Half full. I'm a half full kind of guy.
No, it's always good when we have the old statistician with us.
It is. We miss you, Mike, man. We miss you.
We do love the Mana. We do love the Mana, Mike.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So we talked about last week. What about this week, man?
Well, I think this week is perfect because, one of the repercussions of not dealing with respect or handling respect properly with men has translated into this new term that they like to throw out there, this thing they call toxic masculinity.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you love these new terms they come up with?
Oh, Ward, don't you think you were a little hard on the beaver last night?
I don't know where they come up with this shit. I really don't. But we're going to dive into it anyway because that's what we do. We're bound to piss somebody off, but hey, whatever.
Yep. That's it.
I think it's important, though, if we're going to talk about toxic masculinity. Ray, what the hell does the word toxic even mean?
Oh, sorry. I was breaking down there for a minute.
Slow down, kid.
All right. Well, there's several definitions for toxic toxic in general. And of course, one of them being, poisonous or toxic chemicals and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But I think the one that most closely resembles what people are twisting and contorting is extreme, harsh, malicious, or harmful.
Oh, okay.
Toxic sarcasm.
Wow. It's toxic sarcasm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think people
toxic.
Oh, God.
No.
I thought that was going to be, that's hot.
Yeah. That's toxic thinking right there.
Toxic.
Oh, jeez. I
can't even speak.
I'm at a loss for words for this one. I don't understand. Well, let's talk something that's harmful, poisonous, whatever, right?
That's toxic.
Yeah, the Freddy's going crazy over there.
Okay,
like
so let's think. What could be truly toxic? Drugs. Too many drugs. Doing a lot of drugs. Yeah. Right? That would be toxic.
Well, I think an abusive relationship would be a toxic relationship.
Yes.
I think that a man that's being abusive to his spouse, I think that's disgusting. And number one, if you're a dude putting your hands on a woman, you're not a man.
Right, okay? right.
So I don't even think masculinity even belongs in that conversation because if you're masculine, you don't beat up women.
Right. Well, even verbally.
You're a boy with a beard.
Some people don't have physical strength, therefore they use their knowledge and their wisdom to verbally abuse people, which is very possible.
Well, let's take wisdom out of that because not very wise if you're tearing people down with your mouth.
I agree completely. But yeah, so verbal abuse.
But it's funny. I mean, that's not even what they're talking about these days when they talk about toxic masculinity. They're talking about just being manly.
Just plain masculinity.
I don't know how being a provider is toxic. You got a guy out there that wants to bust his ass to provide for his family. And some people think that that's toxic masculinity because he's putting himself above his wife and they're not in an equal playing field and he's looking down on her because he's the provider. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. The other, being a protector, is that toxic too, I guess? I don't. Because I don't know how you could put even the two words together. There's no such thing as toxic and masculinity. They don't even belong in the same sentence together.
What about chivalry? Is that toxic?
I guess today it is. There are some women out there right now that get offended if you hold the door open for them.
Yeah, I got it.
Here's what I think. I think, like people do with the Bible, they'll take a little piece of the Bible, one little verse, one little something, and they'll focus solely on that, and they'll just beat it to death. I think that's what they're doing with the definition of masculinity, standing up and asserting oneself, and they're just trying to contort that and beat it to death.
Well, what's crazy about it, if you think about it, okay, masculinity is toxic, but yet we've got girls that are more masculine these days than ever. They don't even, they embrace masculinity more than femininity.
Apparently, we got girls with dicks too right now.
Oh, God. Right.
Sorry.
You just dove into that one, huh?
But, I mean, isn't that what they're saying nowadays?
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Half the stuff they say these days, just I don't.
Yeah, but
I'm lost.
They say different things in the redneck world. Yeah.
So would that be toxic femininity?
I guess. I don't know. I mean,
think about it.
I'm at a loss for words right now. I mean,
yeah,
dude.
That one's got me.
Fritz, I just jacked Johnny all up.
I mean, I thought I felt like he took me to Thailand.
Oh my!
You know what I mean?
But honestly, though, I mean, there's going to come a time where they're going to bite themselves in the butt.
Well, they're already doing it.
Yeah. So, I mean,
they're already doing it. I mean, we got dudes that are big. And the last 3 women of the year have been men.
Jeez, dude. Please don't be so freaking toxic. We just want to play a game. That's it.
Oh, my God.
Jeez.
I tell you what, if I was a woman, I'd be pissed.
My daughter, it's funny. We had a conversation. She is pissed. She's 20 years old, getting ready to turn 21. And she's like, Dad, I mean, that Mulvaney dude or whatever they want to call himself.
Is that the Bud Light dude?
The Bud Light dude or whatever. Yeah. She's like, you know what makes me so mad? I'm like, what's that? He goes, he portrays women so pathetically. All we're about is acting childish and shopping and doing.
I saw a news anchor that was
she's like, it's
about
absolutely disrespectful. It's like this guy is getting all kinds of praise and being recognized as a woman and everything else, and he doesn't even properly represent women.
He represents a kid, basically, from what I've heard.
Yeah, and it's like he prances around like a little fawn in over there in the forest, like Bambi prancing. It's like that's not real.
I honestly don't understand how women are not pissed and rising up about this. Here's a guy who's experienced no women issues whatsoever.
He's reaping all the bennies
and reaping all the benefits. Exactly.
Well, you know what really pisses me off is that, where we talk about toxic masculinity, and yet we got these dudes that are saying they're girls now competing in girl sports.
Right?
That's disgusting. I mean, you're sitting there swimming against girls. I mean, I would hate to be the father of that young lady that tied him in that race.
Oh,
and then they gave him the trophy because it was a better photo op.
Oh,
jeez.
That to me is toxic.
Here's another thought that I think a lot of people haven't thought about is with all of these men saying that they're women and they're being accepted as women. Women who are standing up for feminism are complaining that men are ruling the world. Men are ruling the jobs. Men are ruling work. Men are ruling everything.
Now men are ruling women.
Exactly. So now that these men are saying, I'm a woman, are they supposed to be okay with that?
Well, what's funny is it was about 3 years ago. I remember having this conversation with my daughter. She was talking about that Jeffrey dude who puts on makeup and how he was on TikTok and all this other shit. And I looked at her, I go, do you think that that's cool? And she's like, well, yeah, he puts his makeup on good. I go, doesn't that bother you as a woman? And she's like, why? I'm like, you got a dude that's making millions of dollars for putting on makeup that women have been wearing since the beginning of time.
Right.
And he's getting all the recognition and all the notoriety for it. I said, if I was a girl, I'd be pissed off right now.
Right.
Like, why don't we give women that kind of respect? Why isn't there a woman making millions of dollars for doing that?
Right.
Why are we paying a guy for putting on makeup?
Yep. No, I agree.
That's like hijacking femininity.
But you know what? We're toxic for even bringing it up.
I love it.
We're toxic for bringing it up.
Well, and I think the other thing that really gets under my skin is that we have twisted this thing so much to where women are so afraid of guys now. Like, we talked about this on one podcast. It is a sad state of affairs when a girl feels more comfortable with a hookup online to have sex than they do with a guy asking them out on a date.
Oh, yeah, in person.
In person.
Yeah.
That he's a creeper. He's a creep if he asks them out and treats them with respect. But he's not if he just wants to hook up online to meet up and have sex.
Yeah, he's either a creep or a simp.
Yeah, I mean...
A what?
A simp.
A simp.
Simp. Simple man.
He's simp, yeah.
He's a simp.
A redneck term. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's like, what do you want? What do you know?
Well, first of all, I think the problem is we have a definite great divide in this country of what it is to be a man and what masculinity truly is.
Yeah.
We talk about it on this podcast all the time. I mean, being a man is an act of selflessness,
right?
Sacrifice, duty, honor, respect,
Yep.
humility.
Yep. Humbleness, yeah.
I mean, all these things, that's what a man is really supposed to be, a provider, a protector,
right?
A leader, a lover.
Second. Not first, second.
Well, shit, last.
Yeah.
Last.
Yeah, as you start stacking them up, it's last.
I mean, we're last. And that's okay. But going back to our prior podcast, we just want some respect.
Right.
And what happens is, ladies, listen to this real good. When you start showing blatant disrespect, that's what produces toxic masculinity. Because these boys with beards that aren't really men, when you disrespect them, they act and they retaliate like little spoiled children.
Oh, yeah. Well, the world is telling them that we don't deserve respect. Men don't deserve respect because they're trying to control everything.
Truth.
Right now,
it's what they're being told.
Well, and there's statistics that are backing up the fact that they say most 20-something-year-old dudes would rather order pizza, watch porn, and sit at home than go out on a date with a woman.
Oh, my God.
Because it's just too much.
It's too hard.
No. Well, the other thing, too, is we've got a culture that's been created where the women are taking on masculine roles, and they have certain expectations, and it's all about what do you bring to the table. And so if a guy isn't making a lot of money and he's not 6 foot whatever, and he doesn't have a 6-pack, and he's not this and he's not that, well, then he's a simp. And the only way he's going to get her is if he can buy her. And there are a lot of dudes out there. When you look at the average income of people in America, most dudes make $40,000, $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
How do you compete with that? They're looking for the top 1%ers.
I've got no problem with a woman out earning a man. I have no problem whatsoever. The problem that I have is a man sitting on his heels going, she's got it.
Well, he's not a man.
But that's it. That's exactly what I'm saying. So even if you're, like if my wife would make $120,000, $130,000 a year, or whatever, I have absolutely no problem with that.
Yeah,
bring home that bacon,
that
baby.
Right.
And let me tell you what, I would be doing one of two things. That damn house would be spotless. The yard would be clean, or I'd be out working as well. One of the two. But I'm not going to sit on my heels eating bonbons saying, hey, yeah, you do whatever you do, you boo. I'll sit back and suck it all up.
You got too many boys sitting on donkeys.
That's a good episode from the battle, baby.
You know what I mean? I'm sitting on your donkeys.
That's true. That's true. And like you said, these guys think, oh, well, it's easier this way. Well,
but those aren't men. That's not masculinity. That's immaturity. You can't be a man and be immature.
There you go. So let's not even say that's not masculinity. That's not men. That's immaturity, period. Yes. That is a boy who needs to grow up to be a man.
Well, you're not going to get any respect, man, if you got no self-respect.
Oh yeah.
A woman ain't going to respect a man that got no self-respect. I mean, if you're willing to sit on your ass and while your wife's going to working, or your significant other's going and she's footing the bill, you ain't a man, number one. Number two, you got no self-respect.
You're being selfless to nothing. You know what I mean?
Selfish.
Yeah, that's what you're being.
Boys are selfish. Men are selfless.
That's right.
And I think that's the problem. We haven't clearly defined the difference between the two in our culture. And we got a situation where because of that, anytime a man that stands up against that or pushes back against that, he's called toxic.
Yeah. Exactly. Just
You know?
just because you go against the flow of what's the norm today. I tell you right now, the norm is screwed up right now, dude. The norm is not is not self-sustaining.
And these women are coming up empty because they're trying to repress real men.
Yeah.
And then when they get a real man that steps up, they don't like it because they don't like the pushback.
Right.
Well, you can't have it both ways. Either you want a simp or you want a man.
That's it.
So, if you got a man, any guy that's worth his salt, number one is going to take care of you. He's going to provide for you. He's going to protect you. He's going to love you.
Yep.
He's going to do all those things automatic, right? But if you think that you're just going to talk to a dude like he's a piece of shit and he's going to be at your beck and call and all you got to do is show up and he's going to kiss your ass.
Yeah.
That's not a real man ain't going to do that.
No, if you think he's going to do all that and kiss your ass, that's not it. Because
he's going to be out with Maynard drinking this. Right there.
Good old captain.
Good
The
old
captain.
But yeah, I mean, it's like they want their cake and eat it too. And everybody's always said you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Oh yeah, they can. That's what they're telling them now. You can.
But they're empty.
Yeah.
They're coming up empty.
Well, when you look at the statistics right now, there are more 30-plus-year-old women, single mothers in this country than ever in the history of America.
Truth.
And a lot of it's because they're being told to go get theirs, get their careers, make their money.
Yeah.
Don't get tied down, don't get married, don't waste your life. And then what happens is when reality sets in and the maturity sets in and they go, well, I want something more than just myself.
Right.
I want a family. I want this. Sometimes it's too late.
Yeah.
And then the problem is the guys that are your age are either the good ones are either already married or the ones that are going or they've been divorced. And if they're going to hook up again, they're going to do it with somebody that's younger.
Yeah.
Without kids, without baggage, without everything else.
Yeah. But I guarantee it's going to be with somebody that shows them respect.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
And I just don't understand where they've come up with this. If you don't just bend over and do whatever you're told like a good little boy, you're toxic.
Yeah, they're misdefining stuff. Is that even a word? Misdefining?
Misdefining? I don't know.
Sounds good, right? That's a redneckinism right there for you. Misdefining.
They're misdefining.
Yeah, they're making it whatever they want it to be. We all know that lately, in the last couple of years, they've been changing the definition of many words to suit their needs. And that's not a good thing.
Well, the word toxic, the way it's the definition of it, has no place next to the word masculinity.
No.
The two cannot even be married together because masculinity does not have any of them qualities or those traits.
No, not
To
at
be
all.
masculine is not to be poisonous. It's not to be, hurtful. It's not to be damaging. To be masculine is to be selfless,
Right.
to be sacrificial, to be loving, to be kind, to be a provider,
Yep.
to be a leader. I mean,
Caretaker.
that's what masculinity looks like.
Right.
True masculinity.
Exactly. So they're thinking of something completely different.
Well, they use it as a catchphrase.
Yeah. Just like assault rifle.
It's like when you're a little kid and you're on the playground and you confront this kid that's there because they did something and all of a sudden they feel uncomfortable and they look and go, well, your mom's fat. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
It's kind of like it's kind of, you think about it, it's kind of that mentality like, well, this and this. Yeah, well, you're toxic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like, where the hell does that even come from?
That or a bully.
Yeah, you're a bully.
It's always toxic masculinity or a bully.
Oh yeah.
Now there's a lot of stuff that is bullying, but there's also a lot of stuff that's just hard knocks. Just stuff you deal with. Period.
Man, when I was coming up, my friends dogged on me like there was no tomorrow, and I
Right.
dogged on them. That's a man's love language. That's
Yeah.
what we do. We tear each other down and build each other up.
If you ain't cutting on me, I done pissed you off.
Well, and the other thing, if I could cut on you, but if you don't, nobody else is going to be cutting on you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's a certain group of dudes that are in this circle that are cutting on each other. Everybody else outside of that ain't happening. Not presence.
Right.
Because that's how men operate. We're very protective and territorial.
Yep.
And it's like we have taken that to this place of just, it's just unbelievably ungodly is what it is. It's just this world is so sinful and evil and twisted that it's like living in a bizarro world.
Right. Well, like back when we were younger, a bully was somebody that would beat you up. They would physically intimidate you and beat you up for their gain,
or pick on you because you were weaker or less than. Or
right.
Sure.
And typically it's to make themselves feel better about themselves. But now if you just say, if you tell Johnny, hey Johnny, guess what? You know what? You're fat. You're a bully. Okay. Right? I mean, honestly, that's not being a bully by any means.
Fat is not a
Well, and if
pronoun.
Johnny was worth his salt, he would say, yeah, I'm fat, but you're ugly. I can always go on a diet.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And we learned that as a kids.
Yeah.
We learned how to deal with that stuff. But now it's instantly, oh, he's a bully. He's a bully.
Well, you
he's
got
a
to
bully.
have opposition in life, right?
You do.
And you got to be able to figure out how to navigate through that, right? When you got to get pushed, you got to learn how to push back.
It's going to sharpen you.
The problem is that we don't want any of these kids to have any discomfort or to be uncomfortable at all.
No
and we got to
consequence.
protect them from all the scrapes, the bumps, and the bruises.
Right.
And God forbid if anybody says something to little Johnny that hurts his feelings, because little Johnny, the moon and the stars and the sun set on his ass, and he is the only one that's worthy in the universe.
Oh my God. And if you go against that, you're toxic.
You're toxic, and you're a bully.
And
You're a bully.
it's just a shame because, we talked about this before in a couple podcasts ago, but when you overuse a word constantly, it loses its meaning. It loses its emotion.
It has no value.
Exactly. It has no value whatsoever. And you start calling everything toxic or everybody a bully. Finally, eventually people are going to be like, you know what? Whatever. Right. Exactly.
Whatever.
So.
And it's funny, though. You think about it. When we were coming up, what do they always tell you about bullies? I was always told, don't let people, if you're standing there, somebody's bullying somebody, stand up to them. You don't let people get bullied. You don't somebody's getting picked on, stand up for them, I
was always told to hit the biggest guy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and I think that there's something to be said for that. I mean, there's a lot of people that have stepped in the gap and defended people that were being bullied by people, legitimately being bullied. But somebody busting your balls or saying something to you to make you feel a little uncomfortable, that's not bullying you.
No. That's picking on you.
Yeah, deal with it.
Right, exactly. Grow from it. Learn from it.
And accepting that doesn't make you toxic.
No.
It makes you real.
Yep.
And that opposition, there's an old saying in the Bible, iron sharpens iron. Well, guess what? That's friction, heat, and pain.
Yep.
And that's how we grow. That's how we sharpen.
Exactly. And if you don't grow up with any of that, you're going to be so soft. The first time that you have to experience that, you're going to be sucking your thumb, sitting in a quiet space.
Freaking marshmallow, dude.
Yeah,
the marshmallow.
And that's not self-sustaining. No. It's not. You can't live like that. And there's so few people that are experiencing this stuff. They're trying to cater the entire world to them, and you can't do that.
Well, the problem is everything is in our culture is all about self now. Yeah. And so it's what does it benefit me? So it doesn't matter what the totality of it as far as, everybody goes. It's that one person. It's all about that one person. And if you look at our culture, I mean, even when you look at what's going on with everything we were talking about earlier with, these transgender movement and all these other things. And listen, do what you want to do. That's your business. Okay. When you start forcing it on me, now it's my business.
Right.
And me pushing back and not accepting that doesn't make me toxic. And it doesn't make me a transphobe. It doesn't make me a homophobe. Nope. It's just that I'm not okay with it. I don't agree with it. And I don't have to. Right. Now, I'm not going to mistreat you. I'm not going to be cruel to you. I'm not going to beat you up. I'm not going to do any stupid crap like that. But I don't need to be a part of it. But when you look at this statistically, you're talking about 1% of the people in this country.
1%.
1%. And we're the toxic ones. We're the ones that are,
And if you don't accept it and you don't agree with it,
you're against it.
You're toxic.
Yeah, you're toxic.
I mean, I don't understand that. It's funny. I was watching a reel the other day, and there was this lady out there, and she's got this truck bed full of gravel, and she's shoveling this gravel off. And she's like, you know what? I just want to take a moment and talk to all these women who talked about being equal. It's bullshit. I don't want to be equal. I don't want to be out here shoveling this damn gravel off the back of this truck. You want me in the house? You want me to clean the house? I'll clean the house. You want me to cook you some food in a nice air conditioner? I'll cook you some food. I'll tell you right now, I'll be the happiest person on earth. You got me out here shoveling this shit? I am pissed off. I do not want to be equal. And I don't know where we're coming up with that. She goes, you know what? She goes, on Facebook, I'm going to be posting about how this is a great experience, and on TikTok, this is the shit you're going to get right here.
That's life. That's real.
Life.
That's real.
Y'all want to talk about equality and toxic masculinity and everything else, but when the shit hits the fan, you're going to call a masculine man.
Oh yeah.
You don't want a guy that's going to show up in a pair of skinny jeans and penny loafers to a homicide scene talking about they're going to save your life. Okay, prancing around. I don't care who you are. Or
to fix your car. You roll up to a dealership or something, and the guy comes in and goes, well, let's see here. We've got this and this, and let me plug this in. And no, you want a guy.
Never look like they've touched a wrench in their life.
Right. You want a guy who's got some dirty overalls on that's going to walk up there and go, what's the sound? And it's going tick, 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 tick.
You want a guy that when you walk down the street and somebody's coming at you, you can stand behind them, not have to worry about standing in front of them.
Exactly.
And that's not not
bad.
Chauvinistic. That's not being a male chauvinistic pig or a bigot or whatever. That's just the truth.
And that's not a bad thing, because a man's role is to defend, is to take care. Yeah, exactly. Everybody says, they want, equality, right? Men and women should be equal. They're equal on different playing fields, period. And there's no need for them to be on the same playing field.
They have equal value.
That's it. Yeah,
they're not,
exactly.
They're not equal in the roles.
Right, exactly.
There's defined roles for a man and a woman.
Right, there's things women can do
but
that
the value is equal.
Exactly.
What they bring to the table individually or to a relationship,
right.
There's a great deal of equality there. But what they're doing is, listen, the strongest man in the world is far stronger than the strongest woman.
Bingo.
The fastest man in the world is far faster than the fastest woman.
Right.
I mean, the fastest. I mean, the guy that tied the girl in the NCAA was like 400 and something in the men's division.
Right.
And he tied to win the national championship with this girl.
Right.
That tells you the disparity between the two.
Right.
You can't argue with that. Physically. Don't make him a better person, smarter person, or anything else like that.
Nope.
I mean, bullshit. But at the end of the day, I mean, you can't dispute certain things. They're just certain facts.
Correct.
Exactly.
So this whole thing about toxic masculinity, I got one thing to say about that. Toxic my ass.
Right.
If you're a man, a real man, and you're really masculine, that word has no business in your life whatsoever. And quite frankly, as a man, I'm insulted by it. To even tie men into that. And to say because we want to step up and play the role that we've been called to play and we've been put on this earth to do and to be, to say that because we do that, we're toxic, that's an absolute slap in the face. And it goes back to what we said last week. It's absolute disrespect. And then you sit back, ladies, and you wonder why you got these men that don't do anything. They're indecisive, they're weak, they're lazy, they're disconnected. It's because every time they step up in that role, they get pushed right back down. And they get told, don't do that because you might be too toxic. God forbid you say that. You'll be going to be overbearing. I mean, what do you want? That's the $1 million question. What is it you want? Because if you want a real man, he is going to be masculine, because that's what a real man is. If you want a boy with a beard and you want little Johnny, that's what you're going to get. Little Johnny sitting on his ass playing video games, sucking the life out of you. And you're going to get all the responsibility that comes with being a man and a woman because you got a boy at home. And you got nobody to thank and to blame but yourself, because at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is control and power. You want full control. You want full power of the relationship. And then you wake up one day and you look over at that dude and you go, man, why the hell am I with this dude? Who the hell is this guy? He's lazy. He's useless. I hear all the time, women, I just want a man that has ambition. No, you don't. Because ambition comes with sacrifice. You want a guy that makes 6 figures, but then you want a bitch because he's at work. He can't make money at home. Where does he win? What does he do? And I'm hoping that there's some women out there that are watching this or listening to this podcast. Maybe you can chime in. Maybe you can send us an email. Maybe you could drop a little message. Tell us. Help us better understand, because there's a lot of guys out there that just don't know what the hell it is you want. Because you say one thing and then you expect another. We're pretty simple. Men just want peace. We want to be in a place where we're appreciated and we're respected. When you don't do those things, you create a toxic boy. See, those two go together because a boy is immature. And being toxic is an immature act. There is no such thing as toxic masculinity. It doesn't exist. It's not real. It's a catchphrase. It's bullshit. And when you catch a hold of that, my friends, well, hell, that's where the rubber meets the road.